Hi, I'm Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. I'm in a pen with 18 bitey pigs, which I'm going to talk about in this video. But what I really want to cover is how best to raise pigs in cold weather for fast growth. So I've got some work to do with these guys today, and I'm going to lead you through the factors that we found really help their growth in the winter. Please subscribe to our channel. Please hit that button down there. Please like and comment on this video. They're tearing me apart here. It all helps our channel out. Thank you. There are three things, There are three things that are essential to helping pigs grow faster in the winter months. The first is a continuous clean supply of fresh bedding. For that, we're using straw. Not only does the straw keep them dry, but it also gives them some roughage in their diet. They wind up eating about half of it. Keeping pigs dry is essential. If they're wet, they're colder, just like you and I would be cold if we were wet out here, and they get dirtier. The second thing is to ensure a clean supply of fresh water on a continuous basis. To satisfy that, we're using a 55-gallon drum with nipple drinkers on the bottom. I'm going to give you some tips for positioning that nipple drinker correctly so that the pigs don't waste a lot of water and make a big mess. The third factor is a continuous supply of clean feed. Not feed in trays that they can put their feet in and get all muddy, but feed that they can't put their feet in and they can eat whenever they want, so there isn't a big rush to the dinner table when you come out with a bucket of feed. Let's get to bedding the pigs first. These pigs love to freak out. I think I've mentioned that before. They have some fun with it when I put straw in their pen. I put in a bale about every other day, and I concentrate the straw in the wet areas. They don't get all of their pen wet. If given enough space, pigs are pretty good housekeepers. They've designated this area in here as their waste area, and they'll tend to poop in the corners over here and over here. And then as we go back into the drier area of the barn, this is their sleeping area. They've hollowed out a space for that. And then they just kind of root over in here, but they don't poop a lot. So it's pretty easy to keep their pen clean. I don't think that would be the case if their pen was smaller. This is a 16 by 32 foot pen. At this size, they have a fair amount of space. They may get a little crowded when they're starting to finish out in February and March, but right now they're able to sort of do their own thing and not get on top of each other too much. And you can see this water is set too low right now. It needs to be moved up. If a pig's got to bend down to drink, water's leaking out of their mouth. They can't seal their mouth around the nipple. Pigs are sloppy drinkers to begin with, but when you set the nipples too low, they're even sloppier. And the biggest reason to make sure that they're drinking as neatly as possible is, again, water, wetness, dampness. If these guys drip water all over in here, the whole place gets soaked. So every week or so I move the drinker up using concrete blocks and pieces of wood to get it at the proper height, which is about 2 inches above their front shoulders, so that their mouth leans upward a little bit as they drink and that water flows right down, instead of them bending over like this and having it leak out the side of their mouth. So we're going to fill the water, but first we're going to move it up. Come in. I have to fill this tank every day and a half now. It was 2 days, now it's a day and a half. Pretty soon it'll be every day as they grow. When I built this drinker, I left the top on the barrel. Being in the winter time, you want to hold the heat of the water in, and leaving the top on helps that. I made a little simple trap door on the top to drop the heating element into and to fill it through. There's just a round submersible 250 watt heating element that sits in the bottom of this tank. The wire comes in through the top here and it keeps the water from freezing. The nipples don't freeze up because when the pigs put their mouth on them, they warm them up, and that keeps the water flowing even though they're hanging outside the tank. Pigs like to mess with everything, and they're trying to get at my camera as I'm trying to get a different shot to show you the feeder. This is the Osborne round feeder that we put in a video, I don't know, it was a month ago. The thing's been working great. I fill it once every 2 days right now. It holds about 230 pounds of feed, so by my math, that's about 6 pounds per day per pig that they're eating. I haven't had any problems with it except for Harvey getting stuck in it, the injured pig that I had in a video previously, and I'll talk about him in a few minutes as well. They turn the paddles and feed comes out. They can't put their feed in it. There's no waste. They haven't been dragging any outside the pan like they would with any other type of feeder I've seen much. I can set the flow control on the top. I've got it turned down to the minimum feed now, so they have to sort of work for their feed a little bit, and it gives them something to do. I compare it to being part of a big family. Say a family with 10 kids and mom lays dinner out on the table and the kids all eat as fast as they can because they know that the food might run out. Well, here, instead of all crowding the food dish when you bring it out twice a day, they can just eat whenever they want. It's much less stress on them. And I'll bet you they wind up eating less than other pigs that we've grown by having this system. For me, assessing how well a pig's growing out just has to do with its proportions. My gosh, these guys are so chunky. They filled out so nicely. You look at their hindquarters and they're really filling out into nice hams. To me, that means they're getting a good diet and they're getting food when they need it. I have some sad news about Harvey, the injured pig that we covered in an earlier video. We wound up having to euthanize Harvey about 10 days after we shot that video. And I have some regrets about the whole thing. As you know, Harvey was injured by getting stuck in the feeder, and then the other pigs picked on him and bit his ears, and he had a rectal prolapse. So we brought him into the shop to take care of him, and we gave him some antibiotics. The mistake that I made was giving him a dewormer when he had a bad rectal prolapse. Because I think what happened is as the worms let loose in his system, he couldn't pass them because of the prolapse. And he wound up just in pain. He couldn't go to the bathroom, so Hillary and I made the decision to put him out of his misery, and that's Harvey's story. It doesn't always work out to a happy ending, and that's kind of the nature of growing livestock. Now, the last thing I want to cover in this video is you always have to figure out solutions to issues with livestock kind of on the fly as you're growing them, and there's always new ones that come up. With this group, they bite a lot. They bite me, they bite each other. You may see in some of the earlier footage there's a couple pigs that have some bloody around their ears where they've been nipped at. I think it's because they don't have anything to browse on in here. All they've got is this metal fence, and they've got nothing to wear their teeth on and exercise their teeth. So I have a unique solution to that I'm going to show you. This is my parents' Christmas tree. Pigs are natural browsers, kind of like goats. And if they don't have anything to browse on, they browse on me and each other. So I'm hoping that this will give them something to do to work their teeth and keep them from biting each other so much. We'll see. I'll get back to you. I guess the pigs are getting a late Christmas. They are really going after that Christmas tree. My guess is it's going to be gone by tomorrow, except for the main trunk. When we raise pigs, we usually think of the growing duration as 6 months in the summer from birth to 200-pound dress weight at the butcher, and 7 months in the winter because they grow slower in the cold weather. Looking at how these are growing, my guess is that they're going to be going to the butcher at 6 months old at the end of March and still dressing at 200 pounds, which is awesome for us. The key to making pigs more profitable is putting less feed into them, and this continuous feeding and watering system I think is doing the trick. I'll get back to you when we do send them to the butcher, and we'll find out how much more efficient they were than our usual groups of pigs. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.